All right, let's roll. All right. I'm Scott,
I'm Kyle.
and this is Crushing Trails and Drinking Ales. We're coming to you today to talk a little bit about our February recap and kind of look forward to March and beyond and give you guys some updates.
That's great. That'll probably be the one we use right there. I like that one.
Well, hey, Kyle, what are you drinking tonight?
Yeah, tonight I've actually got a pretty common one that you see out there. Got a Kona Big Wave. At only 4.4%, it's one of my favorites in terms of post run and a nice crushable beer. So good weekday beer considering it is a Wednesday today. Hump day. Good hump day beer. All right, Scott. What are you crushing tonight?
Yeah, so just trying to make you jealous, doing a little bit of New Glarus Spotted Cow, only in Wisconsin. Every time, as you know, every time we go up to Wisconsin, I mule a bunch of beer back. So just having a couple Spotted Cows tonight, and also have a couple other New Glarus beers in the fridge. I might dip into here in a little bit, but this is a highly sought after beer.
That's what the people want.
Think it's one of the highest selling craft beers in the US, and it's not sold outside of the borders of Wisconsin. So if you're ever in Wisconsin,
Hello, Wisconsin!
should check out New Glarus. They make great beers, and Spotted Cow is a classic.
And yeah, I think you're right. I think they're like within like the top 30. It might even be like they will fix this one on screen for sure. But in terms of a brewery that only sells into one state, the fact that they're that high in terms of sales it says a lot about Wisconsin.
It says a lot about those of us who go to Wisconsin and buy a bunch of it and mule it back too.
Yeah, when you know that when part of the trip is specifically going to be mule and beer, you're
Like,
bootlegging essentially.
we go up there for Christmas, and it's like, well, do we bringing the kids gifts home, or am I getting a couple cases of Spotted Cow?
The
And I'm
kids'
like,
gifts can be shipped. They can't play with them in the car. They'll deal with it when they get home. So you're bringing the Spotted Cow.
all right, Kyle. So let's take a look and see what your February looked like. All right, Kyle. Well, it looked like you had some great runs. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about how February went?
Yeah, February, shortest month of the year, but got a bonus day here in 2024
Bonus? How did you get a bonus?
with the leap year. Went out and paced you at Black Canyon. Got 18.82 miles in that stretch of pacing, which was a nice run together.
Yeah, so I know obviously I've been out there before, but what did you think about the Black Canyon course? At least what you saw of it.
You know, so when we showed up, and I might be butchering the location, it was Deep Canyon, I think, where I came in.
Deep
But
Canyon, yeah, Deep Canyon. That was the 50K mark. Yeah.
yep, Deep Canyon. So Nicole and I took her car Mazda in. As we were driving, we had to cross through like basically a flowing river just to get to the whole like kind of campground area or the field that Deep Canyon is. You know, it was a little nervous, obviously, getting up there and waiting for you to come in. I haven't really paced you in the past, so wasn't sure if I was going to be moving quick enough as a generally slow runner, but had a good time waiting for you to show up. And once you got there, I mean, we got moving. It was a little hiking to start off, but we started picking it up, hit some river crossing, saw a guy fall into the river, unfortunately, but he seemed to brush it off pretty well, even though it looked like everything he had was drenched.
Yeah, I mean, any other thoughts on Black Canyon? And if not, I guess yeah, obviously that was early in February. So what else happened in February?
My sister, your sister-in-law, lives in Prescott, so the day after got to get out and do a little kind of slow jaunt, but it was through the snow. So being based out in Southern California, unless I'm up in the mountains, I really don't get to just see snow and run through it. So that was a cool, fun experience. And then outside of that, just part of the training I'm doing is 5,000 feet of gain per week and 50 miles per week, with one single day each month of at least 5,000 feet of gain in that one run. So, mid to late February, I went to the Culver Stairs and did some repeats of that, just up and down 18 times. You remember out in Black Canyon, I'm not a fan of stairs, so it was kind of like a self punishment, unfortunately. But it was the quickest way to hit 5,000 feet in a single run.
But you go to Culver Stairs quite a bit though, right? It's pretty close, like home trail for you.
Pretty much the home trail, like 18 minutes away. Generally, there's like a mile path that runs up, but I wanted to just go up and down shortest distance to get the gain. So it was really the most time I've spent on the stairs themselves in quite some time. So with Ciclovia was the next day and
Yeah,
Melrose. So
that's like a pretty cool thing out in LA. They basically close the streets down or something, and you can run and ride on closed streets. Is that correct?
yeah, that's correct. They've been doing it for a while. Actually, the Melrose event was their 50th one. So I think they've been doing it for like 10 years, give or
Uh,
take.
yeah, that's pretty cool. They used to do when I lived in New York City, they did it. It was a similar thing called Summer Streets, and they would close it down, and we could run and ride traffic free on. I can't remember if it was Saturdays or Sundays, but it was really cool. So I'm assuming it's pretty much a similar concept.
Yeah, I think they're like the way they phrase it is, turn it into an urban park for the day, give the opportunity to, it's cycling is probably the biggest part because it's, full access to the road. But I saw other people out there running. My buddy Mitch joined me on his longboard for a little while. So
Nice.
yeah, it sounds like a similar sort of thing.
Yeah. So was that? I mean, that pretty much kind of wrap up the big stuff in February, or do you have any other you know decent runs or big runs or interesting runs?
Yeah, nothing too interesting. That really wrapped it up.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, let's go ahead and see what you did in February. Let's take a look at that video montage. Now, looks like a nice recap of the month, February. Tell us all about it now.
Looking back at February, obviously the big thing for me was Black Canyon 100K. So the goal there was to try to take 2 to 3 hours off of last year's time. That did not happen.
How much time did you end up taking off?
I got about 45 minutes off of last year. So I definitely had a little bit more cushion. It wasn't kind of like to the wire like last year, but it was still a pretty rough day. A little bit different than last year. You know,
Muddy, right? It was muddy at Meyer before you even got going.
yeah. So this year was a little bit different than last year. Last year, I definitely had a pretty decent early 50K or so, and then it got warm and kind of started having some stomach issues like later in the day, and really struggled like later in the race. This year, unfortunately, the first 10 miles or so actually felt pretty good. I mean, it was muddy and that sort of thing, but around mile 11 started struggling with stomach issues and couldn't get fluids and calories in, and it really kind of set me back. And I made it to I honestly, like, at the mile 20, I don't know, whatever that 20 24 miles or whatever.
Was that
um
Bumblebee?
No, it was the aid station after Bumblebee. I mean, I honestly didn't think I was going to be able to continue, but it wasn't a place where you could really drop out. So, I just kind of told myself like, hey, this is going to suck, but let's just push through to the 50K point. If I have to drop, I can drop there, but at least at that point I could pick you up as a pacer, and was hoping that, I kind of rebound a little bit. And I was definitely, I think, as it was a little rough coming in at the 50K point, and had some stomach issues.
But you turned around quick there. Carrie's friend Cindy, she even was noting about it, like you're no business, or you're all business when you're coming into the aid stations and the crew. You're not sitting around. So despite the struggle, you did turn it around pretty quickly.
It took a few miles, but kind of bounced back a little bit. I mean, unfortunately, at that point, I had a lot of miles on my legs and wasn't moving that fast, but did bounce back. Started feeling a little bit better. Kind of fueled by Oreos and chicken broth.
What? Not mixed together.
But that kind of fueled me through the rest of the race, and ended up shaving 45 minutes off of last year's time. Got the obviously the big thing there was checking the box for Western States Lottery. Got that done. So I called it success, even if it wasn't quite the day that I was hoping for.
I did it.
That's got Black Canyon done, and then basically taking some downtime. February technically is a light month for me, from a running standpoint. I think I ended up with a 150 or 151.3 miles, something like that. So technically, gave back a few miles that I was ahead last month. But still overall ahead for the year on kind of mileage of running 2,024 miles in 2024. So still doing okay there. But it's purposeful, kind of doing a little bit of a mental reset, letting the body recover after the 100K. And then but yeah, March will be a little bit lighter, but that's all planned. And then, like you mentioned, AC 100, I'll be kind of jumping into my big training block starting in April. Still currently, as of today, number 12 on the wait list for AC 100.
I bet you're excited to start training into the summer in Texas as it gets hotter and hotter every year out there.
It feels really hot in here. Is it hot in here?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty brutal. Training in Texas through the summer. I mean, hopefully I can get a few breaks here and there. When I go out to El Paso for work, it's not that far of a jaunt to get up to Cloudcroft, which is about 9,000 feet. So hopefully a few times this summer I can get up there and do a little bit longer runs, get out of the heat. But obviously, the heat training will be great. There's a couple night races, Captain Carl series through Teos Trails in the Austin kind of Central Texas area that hopefully I'll be able to do, 60 Ks at night, overnight in the heat. So, looking to do those. But, hopefully we'll get into AC 100. If not, we'll have a very good base for Barkley Fall Classic. One of the things I'm looking forward to in March is I'm actually going to do a minimum of 1 mile a day every day in March. So although it'll be a lighter month from a mileage and volume standpoint, just trying to establish some consistency going into April before we still really start ramping up. So, look for at least a mile a day every day in March. I know that's nothing compared to, your streak of, I don't even know where you're at. Where are you at these days?
And I'm not one of those people who's kept track of it down to the day. Every once in a while I'll look, but hey, a mile a day in general at any point in time is still a major success. So I'm looking forward to, being there with you on that one every day for at least a month.
Yeah, so once I get into April, I'll start taking days off again, or maybe cross training on a mountain bike or something like that. But definitely just trying to keep some consistency, because especially when traveling and vacation, it's easy to just down a bunch of beers and skip days and gain a bunch of weight. And I definitely don't need to do that, because I still have a few lbs that I need to drop before AC 100, because I don't want to be dragging that extra weight up 19,000 feet of climbing or whatever it is out in California. But so yeah, that's that's basically February and kind of looking into March and beyond for me. So
All right, yeah. So it looks like both of us had a pretty good February. excited to see what we have ahead for us in March and beyond. I know we got a lot of training and some projects. So until we get together again, cheers.
Cheers.